Hello everyone, welcome back to Unscripted. Today, we are continuing our Honest Opinions series with our honest opinions on the new live-action Lilo and Stitch. This movie, it came out, I really think they missed a marketing opportunity here. Because it came out in May?
May 23rd.
May 23rd. I think they missed a marketing opportunity because Stitch is experiment 626.
Why not come out on 626?
So why did we not release it on June 26th?
Make it make sense.
But, to make up for that, that's when this video's out. Happy 626 Day, everybody. Lilo and Stitch.
One of my favorite movies growing up. Even now, still one of my favorite movies of all time.
Absolutely. The animated movie is
beautiful.
Perfection.
And whenever or at least whenever I first heard it was coming out, I was really excited. But again, still nervous because we've seen what Disney does with live actions.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I feel like there isn't a lot they could change that could not be true to the story. And so I was like, I think it should be fine. And I was wrong.
They did change a lot.
They did change a lot.
But I think it was a really good movie, though.
100%.
This was one of their better live actions. This was one of the best ones that they've done. And Disney's done a lot of live action movies. And the ones that I think they've done really good on are Cinderella, the one with Lily James. That one is number one on my list. Okay. That is the best live action that I think Disney has done. And it was one of the first.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yes. That one's my number one.
That was really good. They added to the story with that one.
Mm-hmm.
And Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
Those are the top three. Those are the best ones that I think that have been released. And they've been doing a lot of live actions recently, especially. And with the way their live actions have been going, nobody expected Lilo and Stitch to be as good as it was, I think.
Yeah. Especially because with the last
one. They haven't been doing too great.
They haven't been doing the movies justice, and I get that Disney is trying to, stay updated, stay constant. So they want to relevant. So they want to create new things, and this is just my opinion, instead of just taking old movies and recreating them, hear me out. Create a whole new story. That's just my opinion.
They could do that, but, if they want to recreate their old movies and make them live action, go for it. I mean, sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're not, You either have something that's going to be awesome, or you have something that's going to just flop, like the last one did.
Mm-hmm.
But Lilo and Stitch, I think, has been doing really well in theaters.
It has been doing really well in theaters. I did hear recently, though, that I think How to Train Your Dragon, that just came out, took it over.
Oh, How to Train Your Dragon was much, there was more excitement around it than there was Lilo and Stitch. Reason being because of the way Disney's live actions have been. Honestly, when they announced it, I was a little afraid of what they would do to Stitch. Little afraid, especially because of all of the live actions they've been doing with animals recently. I'm not a big fan of those ones. The live action CGI animals kind of scare me a little bit. It's the eyes. I think it's the eyes because, look, I get it. You can't bring on a real lion.
Oh, man.
So why don't we just not make a live action Lion King?
I remember seeing whenever we were first getting rumors that we were getting a live action Lilo and Stitch, I remember seeing some original character designs for him, and he looked scary.
That's why I was scared.
Yeah.
That's why I was scared of what they were going to do to our fluffy little friend.
Supposed to be cute and fluffy. Don't take that away from him.
No, he is still
and
cute
they did it. Yeah, they
did.
They didn't take the cute and fluffy away.
For the most part, the story was the same. For the most part.
For the most
part,
they
changed little bits and pieces of it. And in my opinion, I know live action Disney right now is not the most popular, but in my opinion, the changes that they made the story better. I really liked the storyline.
I did like the storyline. I think one change I didn't like was they made Jumba really mean, and they made him just not be this silly, goofy scientist that we knew.
Yeah. They got rid of Gantu. Mm-hmm. When I found out Gantu wasn't going to be in the movie, I was a little... I didn't know what they were going to do. Like, because Gantu's, like, your main antagonist. And my thought process was, well, hold on, you just got rid of the antagonist, so what are you gonna do? And they essentially, they took Gantu out and then took Jamba and put him in the antagonist role. And I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of that change. I mean, that was one of the ones I was like, we could have avoided this. Yeah. But I get it, because a lot of this movie was CGI.
Yeah.
Like, we have aliens. We don't have real aliens we can use. So it just, CGI gets to the point where when you're doing a movie like this, it gets to the point where you need to start looking at the cost. And that's definitely what they were doing here. They could either spend hundreds of thousands to millions more dollars to bring Gantu in and CGI him, and then do the same thing they did with Jamba and Pleakley and have a human come in and play him. Or they could just cut him and have that much less to worry about.
I did think, whenever I originally heard that Gantu wasn't going to be in it, my original thought process was, oh, I'm blanking on her name, but the main alien lady, I thought she was going to end up being in it more, and she was going to be more the antagonist. I did not
think... I am glad they didn't bring her into it.
But I am glad they didn't bring her into it more, because it made that ending scene like a little more heartfelt. Like, she was still like sympathetic.
It wouldn't make sense.
It wouldn't have made sense.
The story wouldn't have made sense if they brought her in to be in it a little more present.
Yeah.
That was the beginning. I remember watching the beginning, and I felt like it was very rushed. I felt like it was very rushed, because I remember in the original animated movie, that beginning part, like from when we are in the trial to when Stitch crashes on Earth, it takes longer.
Yeah.
Like, it was a longer process. And then in the live action movie, I was watching it and we're going through this, and suddenly we're on Earth, and I went, did I miss something? Did I blink? Did I fall asleep? No. It just moved really, really fast.
Which goes back into they had to be very limited with the CGI with all the aliens.
Yeah.
So it kind of had to be rushed.
Also, I was so disappointed that Lilo didn't have her Pudge the Fish monologue. I was looking forward to that.
I wanted her little story of her saying that Pudge can't have tuna, because do you know what tuna is?
It's fish!
You can't feed Pudge fish.
And also, she didn't give him a peanut butter sandwich.
That as well.
It was a ham and cheese sandwich, I think.
I thought I saw lettuce or something.
Well, some people put lettuce on their ham and cheese sandwiches.
Well, yes, I know.
I think it was a ham and cheese sandwich.
I was just saying that's the only thing I remember. I just knew it wasn't peanut butter.
It wasn't peanut butter. I was a little... Yeah. That also made me a little sad. But we did see Pudge, and Pudge does still control the weather. So, yes, that's a plus. Pudge still controls the weather.
I thought it was interesting that, like, because in the original story they had, like, Lilo go feed Pudge and then she goes straight to the dance recital. I did think it was interesting that they had her run around town for a little bit before doing the dance recital.
I don't... In the animated movie, it wasn't even a recital; it was just practice.
Well, yeah. I missed the whole Lilo and Myrtle fight. I wish we had it.
I know, yeah. I mean, there was a little bit of a fight. I mean, They're not gonna actually have her bite her.
Well, so. Yes.
I punched Myrtle in the face after I bit her. You bit her? We didn't have that. They're not actually gonna have this little girl bite another little girl.
Oh,
yes. I did. Here's because what I heard was, and I tried to stay away from things before I watched this movie. I tried to steer clear of posts, videos, spoilers, all those fun things. I tried to steer clear of those. But sometimes you just can't stay away from it in the workplace. I was sitting in the break room when I heard this, and what I heard from my coworkers was that they didn't like it because at the end of the movie, Nani gave up Lilo.
Which is what I also had heard. I had some people at work also telling me about that.
And because I heard that from so many people at my job, and you heard it from so many people at your job, and it was all over the internet from what I've heard too. Like, it was everywhere.
That's how I first saw it. Someone didn't post that it was a spoiler and just straight up said, I can't believe Nani gave away Lilo. And I was like...
So here's my unpopular opinion. Nani didn't actually give up Lilo, and that was an amazing ending.
No, because
I really liked it.
Nani giving up Lilo, Nani would just straight up be like, alright, here's Lilo, I'm running away and I'm never gonna see you all again. No. She was still there in Lilo's life. She was still trying to show up for her. She was still talking to her, being active with her. She had the ending that she deserved, which is she still gets to live her life and Lilo still gets to be a child, and neither of them have to grow up too fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My unpopular opinion is that was a really, really good way to end the movie. And I think, don't hate me, better ending than the original. Because Nani got her ending too.
Yeah.
Granted, it was a happy ending in the other one. Nani got to keep Lilo. She ended up with David, right? But Nani got to chase her dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And if we get a second one, because we have a second Lilo and Stitch, we have a second animated Lilo and Stitch, we have a whole series. If they decide to keep going with this, they can expand on Nani's story, and she's probably still going to end up with David.
She did
end up with David. So, she's still, they still got half the ending we got in the animated movie, just instead of Lilo and Nani staying together, Nani got to go off to the school she wanted to go to, to pursue the education she wanted to get.
I really
liked it.
Because in the animation, it seemed like Nani's dream was to be a surfer and stuff. They didn't really talk about anything that Nani wanted. I did like that in this. We got to learn what she wanted. We got to know that her goal was to be a marine biologist, which I thought was really cool. So I was very excited about that.
Yeah. And she still was very much into surfing. You can see the trophies and stuff in her room still, just like in the animated movie. She was a big time surfer.
And one of the jobs she was applying for was to be a surfing instructor, and we got to see a lot about that, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. So, hate me if you want, and you're entitled to your own opinions, but I think I'm right on this one.
I thought it was a good ending.
It was a really good ending. So, to all of you who said Nani gave up Lilo, you're wrong and you're looking at this the wrong way. Sorry.
And I get the way they're looking at it. Again, we're comparing it to the animation, so they're like, oh, they didn't stay together, so that obviously means that Nani gave her up. No, Nani gave her the best ending that her and Lilo can both have, and that's what we all wanted. We wanted the best ending for them both, and the live action, this was the best ending for them both. It wasn't for them to stay together.
Also, I think the casting was done really, really, really well. Really, really well.
Yes.
Lilo, the little girl who played Lilo, the embodiment of Lilo in this movie.
Yeah.
And Nani, loved Nani. There were moments where I was like, okay, I don't like this version of Nani. And there were moments where I was like, okay, I really like this version of Nani. But there were times where I just thought, okay, at this point in the animated movie, Nani was still like Nani was still teaching Lilo, but in like a way that's like still encouraging her to have that imagination. Whereas in this one, she didn't really get that. So when Lilo and Stitch accidentally got Nani fired, instead of Nani handling it in a I still want you to be a kid, have an imagination kind of way, she blamed it on Lilo.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, "Oh, he was a
vampire.
He wanted me to join his Legion of the Undead." She just full on blamed it on Lilo.
Yeah.
And I remember I looked at you and said, "I don't like this. I don't like this, Nani." But I mean, I guess that's how real life goes. So sometimes, but
and
it made it the other version of Nani.
What I did like, yes, I thought it would have been funny if she did continue with the vampire bit, but what I kind of liked about it was it showed that at the end of the day, Nani is still a kid herself, and that she isn't trying to actually parent Lilo. Another change that I thought was interesting was that they made Cobra Bubbles just a straight up CIA agent instead of an ex-CIA agent and now social worker, and then they brought in this new woman to be the social worker.
I did think that was interesting.
Yeah.
Because when the social worker was brought in, that was the moment I started thinking, hold up, did they get rid of Cobra Bubbles too? There's no way they got rid of Cobra Bubbles. And then he came in and I thought, well, thank goodness they didn't get rid of Cobra Bubbles.
Yeah.
I mean, it added a little bit more of a subplot. It gave them another like little side story they can use, which was fun. It was a fun little story that they added. What they did was, instead of, he had a past in the animated Lilo and Stitch, he had a past with the aliens already.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, they kind of erased that past and gave him that storyline in this movie. So they moved it so we could see that storyline rather than just having us imagine it. They brought it to life instead. Fun fact, Stitch was voiced by the same guy who voiced him in the animated film. He came back to reprise the role, which I really liked. I remember I looked at you at one point and I said, he sounds just like Stitch in the animated film, because people have their Stitch impressions, but not all of them sound like Stitch. This guy I looked at you and I said, he sounds just like Stitch in the animated movie right now.
And it was like that last ending, that part where he was saying like the Ohana part. And I remember you thought for a second, you were like, did they just take it from the animated and pasted it on the live action?
Like, because it sounded exactly like it does in the animated film. Like, the whole time I was thinking he sounds just like Stitch in the movie. But that specific part sounded exactly to a T, exactly like the way he says it in the animated film. So I seriously thought for a split second that they took that audio and then put it over the live action.
Yeah.
But I did look it up afterwards, and it was the same. I mean, the credits said it, so I was able to confirm in the credits. But the credits started rolling, and I looked at it and I said, oh no, it's literally just the same guy. It's just the same guy. So that was really cool. Jamba and Pleakley in this movie. Jamba's alien form kind of scared me a little bit.
Really?
A little bit. Why was he fuzzy?
Yeah, he was fuzzy. That was a little weird.
Like, why was he fuzzy? I remember seeing him going, oh, why are you fuzzy?
Why you fuzzy? Why you look like that?
Why are you fuzzy? Yeah, he kind of scared me. Just not a lot, just a little bit. It was kind of just oh, whoa, what?
Yeah.
Just a little jump scare at the beginning. Pleakley was also low-key a little freaky looking.
Well, I mean, they're not supposed to be adorable.
Well, well, true. I think it was just in the animated movie, you don't have the textures that they have in CGI live action, so it was just all the, whoa, you're not a matte painting on the screen anymore.
I remember this being a big thing whenever before the movie came out, where we found out Pleakley wasn't gonna be the little queen that he is in his drag. And I remember feeling a little upset about that, because I was like, oh, like, I feel like that brings a lot to his character, especially because, like, he's such this big, like, earth enthusiast back on the alien planet. And so I was like, I feel like it's gonna be hard to add to his character, but they did a really good job of showing that, like, Pleakley was still this very big earth enthusiast, and he did show a little, like, he still had, like, a little bit of that femininity side.
Oh, he was definitely still fruity.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So that was nice. It was just, we didn't see just the insane makeup that Pleakley has in animation.
But they did what they could.
They did what they
could.
They
couldn't use the aliens for the entire film.
Yeah.
So they had to just do what they could. Yeah, I don't have much more, honestly. I thought it was really good.
It was really, really good. I think, like, there was obviously, like, some little changes here and there, but nothing that impacted the story in any shape, way, or form, like people thought it was going to.
Yeah. This is a movie that I would 100% go see in theaters again, if I had the time to.
Yes.
I'd absolutely see this in theaters again. If it gets released on DVD, I'd buy it on DVD.
You probably will.
So, amazing movie.
Really good. Yes.
Really good movie. I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good score for it. Is an 8 out of 10.
So definitely go see it. Go see it in theaters.
Yes.
This movie, you gotta see this on the big screen. This is one I think you gotta see on the big screen.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So that's all we got for you today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.